It's a very simple way for me to disassociate with the world and just kind of live in a world of my own, and that is through my world Kozy Hollow and rewatching old Martha Stuart videos for some reason, so hence the inspo for this one. Making my own plushie of Wormsworth, who is my flagship character for Kozy Hollow. I ordered these fabrics probably over a month ago, but you know what? It's gosh darn time I give this a shot. I've got all the materials here that I need. Got my fabrics, I got my yarn, got some scissors and measuring tape. Pellon? I think that's how you say it. This is gonna be a adhesive thing to use for our embroidery machine, and this video is purely just for entertainment. Please don't take everything I say as law. I did get an embroidery machine recently. I gave it a few test runs, did not get one perfect, but I feel confident enough to move on. It should be okay. Now, if you know me at all, I don't do patterns, so hey, we're gonna wing it. And what can go wrong? I think I just need to be sure to make sure I'm going with the grain of the fabric correctly. So you see how if I smooth it up like this, oh, that kind of feels worse. Now I don't know which way it's supposed to go. Oh, okay, sideways. So that's smooth. Rough, smooth. Okay, so what I plan to do is, now that I found the smooth side of the fabric, I do want it to go, so once I have Wormsworth cut out, he's gonna be smooth if you place your hand all the way down the body, you know? Okay, does that make sense? Probably not. So now that I'm gonna cut the head part out, I do want to make sure that it's at least as wide as the embroidery hoop, so within the hoop like this with extra fabric to spare, because if not, it'll just pull out from the sides, kind of like it's doing here. Now we have the face at least cut out. It's big enough to fit within the embroidery hoop, which is all I wanted. I'm gonna do the back of the head and be the exact same shape so I can just lay it on top. Again, making sure that the grain of the fabric matches. Perfect, now I'll set this aside and I'm gonna go on and go to the next portion of his body, which will be the tanner fabric. Now I'll just fold this haphazardly to the side. I realize that in some aspects I am very type A, while in others I'm extremely type B. I realize that when it comes to crafting, everything is just kind of very chaotic, no rhyme or reason, complete mess. But if there's anything like planning a vacation, I need to have a list. I need some sort of order, you know? Okay, so for the next portion of the body, I don't want it as tall as the head, so I am gonna cut the same width. Part one done. And now for each part of the body that I make, you can imagine him being one square, another square, another square, another square, and then connected together, it'll be one long tube. So I need a front and a back to each square. So that way it's the front of his body, the back of his body, and when we attach it down the sides and stuff it with fluff, he will turn into a tube. So I'm gonna cut approximately a gajillion pieces, and I'll get back to you when I'm done.
Presenting Bandit. Pound for pound, he uses more energy than most dogs, twice his size.
Okay, finished cutting out all the pieces. I'm pretty happy with it. I think we're good to start sewing. Now the only thing that I'm gonna abstain from sewing is gonna be the head, because I do need to embroider the front one piece of it, and I don't want to sew it together because then it'll go through the second piece, and I don't want that. I think we are good to at least sew the bottom half of the body, so let's do that. Okay, I'm actually going to embroider first while I forgot I have the foot of the embroidery sewing machine on. And instead of switching back and forth, what I'm going to do is just go for the embroidery. Now this is an iron-on. I'm not going to iron it on. I found with the testing that it stays put just fine. So I'm going to cut it the size of my fabric square. Now this part is kind of tricky getting it onto the hoop itself. I want the bigger piece of the hoop down. I'm going to put our Pelon fabric, and then I'm going to put our fabric square right on top of that. Now make sure that your hoop is loose enough down here to open. I'm going to start pulling on the fabric to try to make it taut. It did take me several tries, but I got it in the end. They are right about how hard it is to put this on. At least for now. I hope that I get better at it. But yeah. Now I think it's time to start embroidering. I downloaded this handy dandy app that I can add artwork to then send to the machine, and it'll embroider for me. There's a bunch of designs on here, Disney, Star Wars, stuff like that, so that's pretty cool. Good to know for the future, but a lot of stuff is behind a paywall, which is irritating. Not very 90s, 80s of them. But I'm gonna go ahead and transfer this, and cross your fingers and toes that this time things align. Now I can go ahead and attach it. Oh, I am gonna do the blush first. He has little blush circles on his cheeks, as well as his mouth that's open is pink. So I'm gonna add the pink. What I am left with now, after all that embroidery and headache, is his little face. You can see he's got a little mouth, blush, and eyes. I was having a little trouble with the eye and the mouth and aligning it correctly, but after a little finagling off camera, I was able to figure it out, so it's not too bad. I finagled a little bit with the pieces and figured out a general shape that I would want him to be. He's a lot longer than I expected it to be, but he'll definitely be a little bit shorter and skinnier by the time I finish sewing. I hope not too much skinnier because I want him to be a little chunky. But the next phase will now be to connect all of these parts together. Now this is the fun part. We get to turn it, it looks scary. We get to turn it inside out. Give it a couple whacks. Oh no, he's so cute. Wait a minute. With the intentions of making it like a weighted plushie. Maybe one bag will be enough, but we'll give it a go and see. I'm just gonna put some at the base so it's not just straight up beads at the bottom. See how this. Just gonna go ahead and dump it all inside. He's a little tube, a little worm. Okay, yeah, 2 bags feels good. I need to fill the rest of his organs, and I'm gonna do that with this polyfill. I really hope that the seams are strong enough. They should be. So he looks kind of Frankenstein-y up here. I'm not too worried about that because his hat will go up here and kind of cover that. I plan on stitching the hat directly to his head, but he's naked and he's perfect. I wanted to give him a little tushy, but honestly I have no idea how I would do that. What I'm doing right now is just kind of experimenting with different shapes and trying to see what would make a good rounded hat top. I'm not an expert at sewing. I don't really know how to make these shapes very well, but I do remember how to sew a ball, and it's basically this kind of shape like this. Like if you make one of these and attach them all around, you can make a ball. So what I'm doing is actually cutting that shape in half and hoping I can make like a sort of cap shape around his head. I kind of got enough going right now that I think I can give it a shot to sew on. I'm going to just to see if that works. If not, we'll go back to the drawing board, but I think this might be good enough. I am extremely happy with how this came out. First try, that's kind of crazy. So I only have 3 things left to do, which I'm kind of most nervous about. He has 3 leaves, 2 coming down the side and 1 kind of sticking up here on his hat. I want to add the details of the leaf veins coming out of it as well. So what I'm doing now is I already made the leaf shapes. I'm just sewing the last 2 leaves on, and I'm doing this by hand because there's no way I can get this under my sewing machine to get it right. I'm making sure to be able to sew the bottom parts, or I guess the top part of the leaf, the flat part, to his hat. And with that last stitch, we're done. I can't believe that this came out exactly how I imagined. I'd like to introduce Wormsworth. Oh my god. So yeah, if you ever feel like creating something completely random, always give it a shot, because how would I have known that I could make this if I didn't try? I'll see you next time.